small shop owner has bought in the Santa or in any Raitu Bazaar.
एक ही जगह पे मिलके those type of plastics are known as thermosetting plastics. Comparison, there are 3 types:
up, down, right, left.
I am not inferior to anyone.
We are Claras. We are top on the Everest. Congratulations.
I want to be a leader.
Hi Sparrows, this is Ch.Manasa from Tadwai, Nizamabad district. A pleasant, superb and excellent good afternoon to you all. Today I am here to discuss a English subject grammar to you all. I think let us know the topic, what is the degrees of comparison. So let us take an example, friends. What is this? This is a big pencil, but this pencil is bigger than this pencil, and this pencil is biggest than these 2 pencils. Okay, I think do you all know that what the topic I am going to discuss? That is nothing but degrees of comparison. What, friends? Degrees of comparison. What is degrees of comparison? Degrees of comparison is refers to adjectives being written in different forms to compare one, two or more than 2 nouns. So here the most of the comparative forms are formed by adding a to the positive form of the adjective, and most of the superlative are formed by the adding s to the superlative form of the positive form of the adjective. So let us have a glance on a chart. So look at here, friends. These degrees of comparison is divided into 3 main parts. They are the positive, the comparative and the superlative. Again the positive degree is divided into 3 main parts. They are degrees of equality and degrees of inequality. So friends, now we are going to discuss a clear about these degrees of comparison. Let us know what is a positive degree. What we have discussed, friends, degrees of comparison is divided into 3 main parts. They are the positive, the comparative and the superlative. So here the positive form of the noun describes only the one noun, and the comparative form of the adjective compares 2 nouns, and the superlative form of the adjective compares more than 2 nouns. So friends, let us take an example for these positive, comparative and superlative form of the adjectives. Friends, let us look at the chart. Here, Mercury is a large planet, but Earth is larger than Mercury and Jupiter is largest of all the planets. So what we have discussed, friends, degrees of comparison is divided into 3 parts. They are the positive, comparative and superlative. So here the comparative is formed when er is added to the positive form of the adjective, and superlative is formed when the est is added to the positive form of the adjective. So these 3 planets are a superb example for the positive, comparative and superlative. Friends, let us understand a lot. We have to take some more examples. Friends, this is a potato. This is a big potato. But this potato is bigger than this potato. And this potato is biggest of these two potatoes. So, look at friends, this is a big potato. This potato is bigger than this potato and this potato is biggest of these two potatoes. I think do you all understand friends? But let us take one of the example for these degrees of comparison. What is this friends? Do you all know what is this? This is a chocolate. This is a big chocolate, but this chocolate is bigger than this chocolate and this chocolate is biggest of these two chocolates. Okay friends, I think do you all understand what is meant by these degrees of comparison and what is the positive, what is the comparative and what is the superlative. So let us discuss about the positive form. The positive form of the adjective describes only the one noun, but let us take an example for the positive form. Positive form describes only one noun. Example, Sahiti is a good girl. As friends, here there is only the one noun describing only the one person. So let us take the comparative. Just now we discussed that the Mercury is a large planet. So and the Earth is larger than Mercury and Jupiter is largest of these two planets. Here the positive form is Sahiti is a good girl, and while coming to the comparative, Sahiti is better than Manu. So friends, what we have observed here, in the positive form it is a good, and in the comparative form is added to the positive form of the adjective. And while coming to the superlative, Sahiti is best of all students. So friends, what we have observed here Sahiti is a good girl in the positive form, and in comparative Sahiti is better than Manu, and in superlative Sahiti is best of all students. So my dear friends, let us discuss that positive form is divided into again two parts. They are the degrees of equality and degrees of inequality. So friends, let us know the examples of these degrees of equality and degrees of inequality. So what is degrees of equality? Our palms are the best example for these degrees of equality. So degrees of equality is nothing but these two palms are equal. So we can say that these two palms are degrees of equality. Then what is degrees of inequality? Degrees of inequality is nothing but the inequality shows. This shows the inequality. So let us take an example for these degrees of equality. Tom runs as fast as John. So friends, did you observe? I think Tom runs as fast as John. So here Tom will run as fast as John. So here the equality is found in these two sentences. While coming to the degrees of inequality, let us know that Tom not runs as fast as John. So what did you observe friends from the degrees of equality? and degrees of inequality. Here nothing is done. Tom runs as fast as John is the equality showing among the two persons. And in degrees of inequality, Tom not runs as fast as John. So here the not is showing the inequality of Tom. Okay friends, let us discuss what is comparative. What we have just discussed just now, that is the comparative is the form of the adjective when the positive form of the adjective is added to the positive form of the adjective. Then let us know what is comparative. So comparative is there is a two nouns comparing the two things, that is called the comparative. These most of the comparative forms are formed by adding to the positive form of the adjective. So my dear friends, let us have a glance on the chart. So my dear friends, I think do you all understand what is positive, comparative and superlative? So when some of the adjectives have more than one syllable in the positive form of the adjective, when the word is ends in Y, the Y is changed into I and or est are added to the comparative and superlative form of the adjective. So let us take an example for these two. And with a common adjective such as big, the final, the G is doubled and in the superlative and comparative form of the adjective. Let us take an example for this. First we have to take the example when the positive form of the adjective is ends in Y. Okay, tinny butterfly. So what we have discussed friends, when the word is ends in Y, the Y is changed into I. So let us have a glance on it. Tinnier butterfly. And finally it becomes to the superlative, it is tiniest butterfly. Friends, do you observe here what happens here? When the adjective has more than one syllable, when in the positive form of the adjective ends in Y, the Y is changed into I, and while going to the superlative form of the adjective, the I form is added and est is added to the positive form of the adjective. So this is the example for this. And the next one, what we have discussed with a common adjective such as big. Okay, we have to take an example for this. Big dolphin. What we have discussed? Big dolphin. When the G, the final, the G is doubled in the comparative and superlative forms of the adjective. So in the comparative form, it becomes bigger dolphin. And in superlative form, it is the biggest dolphin. Friends, I think do you all understand what we are adding here? Then in the positive form, there is only one, there is a adjective that qualifying the noun, and in the comparative form, IER is added to the comparative form. In the superlative, est is added to the positive form of the adjective. And in the same way, big dolphin, the G is doubled here and bigger dolphin, and in superlative form, it becomes biggest dolphin. So friends, let us discuss about what are the patterns have here on the degrees of comparison. So friends, now these degrees of comparison is have a patterns, but now we are going to discuss two patterns of degrees of comparison. Let us know what are those patterns. degrees of comparison. Degrees of comparison, as we all know that positive degree, comparative degree and superlative degree. So, in the positive degree, while using the patterns, no other as is formed in the positive degree, and while coming to the comparative degree, than any other is added to the positive form of the adjective, and in superlative degree, the plus est is added to the positive form of the adjective, and in second pattern, very few as is present. While coming to the comparative, it becomes than many other, and when superlative degree is present in the second pattern, it becomes one of the. So, friends, let us learn what is the first pattern of these degrees of comparison. Okay, friends, let us know first positive degree. Positive degree changed into comparative and superlative. Okay, friends, here first we have to know that what is the positive form of the degree. What we have just discussed now, that the sentence in the positive form has no other or as. Let us take an example for this in the positive form. No other Indian leader is as famous as Gandhi. Okay, friends, what is this? This is a positive form that describing that Gandhi is no other Indian leader is as famous as Gandhi. So, this is a positive form. So, we have to remember one thing, friends, when the no other or as is takes place in the positive form in the sentence, it should be blindly we have to believe that it is as. This is a positive form of the adjective, because no other and as is present in the sentence, you have to remember. And while coming to the comparative form, Gandhi is more famous than any other leader in India. Friends, let us look at the comparative sentence. Gandhi is more famous than any leader in India. So, what did you understand, friends? In the positive form, no other Indian leader is as famous as Gandhi. So, while coming to the comparative, the more is added. I think, do you have a doubt that why here more is added? Just now we discussed that when the adjective has more than one syllable, the adjective, the and est are not added to the comparative and superlative form of the degree. So, here this is a superb example that famous. Famous, we are pronunciating the word in two ways. So, here the two syllables is present. For that purpose, we are using more and most. So, in superlative form, Gandhi is most famous leader. So, friends, observe here what happens. In the famous is in two syllables, and while in comparative, the more is added to the positive form of the adjective, and in superlative, most is added to the positive form of the adjective. This pattern is the first pattern. This is a pattern 1. So the positive is changed into comparative and superlative. This is the positive form. Let us take another example of these positive, comparative and superlative. No other animal is as faithful as dog. Dear friends, observe here, in the positive form, no other animal is as faithful as dog. So, in comparative form, dog is more faithful than any other animal. So friend, what we have discussed here, in the positive form of the positive degree, when no other as is present, while coming to the comparative degree, than any other is added. So let us see superlative. Dog is the most faithful animal. Okay friends, once observe the chat. This positive degree is formed when no other as is present. Look at the positive sentence. No other animal is as faithful as dog. And in comparative, while coming to the comparative degree, than any other is used. So look at the sentence. Dog is more faithful than any other animal. Okay, here we are comparing the two nouns in the comparative sentence. And in superlative, dog is the most faithful animal. So friends, in superlative degree, the and est is added to the superlative form of the degree. So friends, just now we discussed that positive is changed into comparative and superlative. So let us take one more the example, that comparative. As friends, in the examinations, the examiner gives us that the sentence we have to change in positive. If they give the sentence in the positive form, they asked us to change it into comparative and superlative. Now we know that the positive, when the positive form is given, we ultimately we have to change into the comparative and superlative. If the examiner give in comparative form, what we have to do? We have to change the sentence into positive and superlative degree. So let us know friends. Comparative degree. The Sahiti is greater than Meena. So what we have done here friends, Sahiti is greater than Meena. Here the sentence is in comparative form. So friends, let us change this sentence into positive and superlative form. Positive form. So here in the comparative, the Sahiti is greater than Meena. So in the positive form, Sahiti is great. Okay friends, in the positive form, Sahiti is great, but in comparative, the Sahiti is greater than Meena. And in superlative, Sahiti is greatest girl. Sahiti is greatest girl or great girl? Greatest girl. So friends, you have to remember one thing here. In the comparative form, and than is used, friends. And in positive, there is no comparison is positive. It describes only one noun. And in superlative, Sahiti is greatest girl. Here est is added. So, let us look at one more example, friends. Comparative, positive, superlative. Tagore is greater than any other English writer. So friends, here we are comparing the Tagore with many other English writers. So here in the comparative form, Tagore is greater than any other English writer. So while coming to the positive, no other English writer is as great as Tagore. Friends, what we had written? No other English writer is as great as Tagore. It is in the positive form. So let us change this sentence into superlative form, friends. Tagore is the greatest English writer. Of all. So friends, let us observe here in the comparative form, Tagore is greater than any other English writer. Here it is in the comparative form, and we are changing this sentence into positive form, that no other English writer is as great as Tagore. And in superlative form, Tagore is the greatest English writer of all. So what we have discussed, friends? Comparative, there is the two nouns describing one and each other, but in positive form there is no comparison, but in superlative more than two nouns is present to compare. Let us know one more example, friends. So now we are going to discuss when the sentence is given in superlative form. So friends, here observe, butterfly is the tiniest one. Here what we have discussed, butterfly is the tiniest one of all. Okay friends, here more than one of all. So here the bunch of butterflies are there, but among these all, this is the tiniest butterfly. And in the positive form, no other butterfly is as tiny as this one. And while coming to the comparative, butterfly is the teenier than any other butterfly. So friends, let us look at the chart. This is a teeny butterfly. In the comparison,